wealth. So then I'm like, kind of like a dick, I guess. But I was like, let me end this real quick because I need her back here helping me with these clients, these emails or whatever we had going on. So I walk in the room, I go, hey, what's up? Oh, you guys are selling something? Oh, what are you guys selling? Oh, you guys are gonna make us rich? Cool. Let's do this. Whatever the hell you're selling, I'll buy it. But you gotta have more money than me. Because I'm not getting game from somebody who doesn't have more money than me. Yeah. So, he was on the computer and said,
hey guys, welcome to another episode of the West Coast Initiative. I'm your host, Alex Castillo. On today's episode, we interview Mr. Voltaire Lepe, who is the CEO of Tenwell Lepe Real Estate Brokerage. We talk about his backstory, how he came from Logan Heights, which was in a really good time growing up, and how he went through an internship and, found real estate at a very young age, and how he's been able to grow and actually thrive during a recession and actually build his own firm now and helping others and sharing all the knowledge too through his YouTube channel. And we talk a lot about fear, how fear is really just a stepping stone to many opportunities. This is going to be a really fun one, guys, and you guys are going to get a lot out of this. So let the talk begin. Hey guys, welcome to the West Coast Initiative. I'm your host, Alex Castillo. And before we get on with the show, I do want to give my condolences and my prayers out to the Williams family. We lost really a dear friend of mine. We had grown up from Oak Park Elementary to SCPA high school years, saw a little bit of each other after college. And unfortunately, he was fighting the disease called sickle cells. And, and I just wanted to make that message out there because you guys know who have been listening that I've also lost my dad about a year and a half ago. And life is not guaranteed. And we need to, be there and be blessed with the family that we have, the friends that we have, be gracious and hug one another when we have the chance and share our love to each other too as well. This is not about trying to reach success. It's kind of like we said in the last episode, it's about being rich in life. And if you're not rich in life, if you're not being, showing that love with your friends and family, mentors, or anybody that comes into your life. But today's show, we have a really special one. We have our guest is Voltaire Lepe. He is the CEO of Lepe Tenwell. He's a real estate investor. The reason why we have him is because I've been following his Instagram and how he's been engaging his clients, the videos of how to improve your income, how to invest. He has games for his clients, movie nights. A friend of mine just told me that, dude, they did a popcorn movie night type of game. And he really is not like a typical real estate agent where just like comes into your life and you never see him again. So Voltaire Lepe, how you doing today, man?
Hey, what up, man? I'm doing excellent. It's a pleasure to be on. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And how's everything going on so far? How's the COVID times?
COVID is cool, man. When COVID first hit, it was just one of these things where I had to make a decision. I'm a real estate broker, so I manage about 20 agents here at the office. They all do their individual business. I'm their coach, mentor, but I also run a small team. Mm-hmm. So it was decision time. The governor said, hey, stop working. And I said, okay, well, we're either going to stop working and it's going to impact us, of course. But at least it's safe, or I'm going to make the decisions like we're not stopping, we got to keep going. Mm-hmm. And it could be a really good one because we're working when nobody else is, or it could be a really bad one because then we get sick. And it was like March. It was a scary time, right?
Yeah.
Where like we didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know how deadly this thing was. So I just made a decision like, hey, man, I'm still coming in every day. So we came in every day. We worked hard, and it's been the best year yet as far as real estate is concerned.
Wow, that's great. And
yeah,
what challenges have you had so far during the COVID? Like, what was the difference between pre-COVID and after COVID?
You know what? Challenges, I can't really think of them, man. Honestly, whenever a challenge pops up, it's like immediately we just go into
solution mode.
Solution mode. But the only challenge was just making the decision whether to. I mean, once we made the decision and we said, "Hey, we're going to keep working," I mean, that's it. We just kept working. And for us, at least I learned in business, is you come in, you show up every day, good things are going to happen. Simple as that. So yeah, there's going to be little speed bumps or whatever, but that's all it is. You just keep going.
Yeah, and I see your office in the back. And for the listeners who was just on the Spotify or iTunes, if you are on the YouTube channel, he has a beautiful office in the background. And you grew it. You started from the bottom. So I kind of want to go to your backstory. How did what was your upbringing? Where did you come from? How did you start to go into real estate? Where was that journey at?
Yeah, man. So I grew up here, born and raised San Diego. I grew up, jumped around between Logan Heights and Sherman Heights. So I grew up most of my life right there on 25th and Imperial, near downtown.
That wasn't a good time, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, nah, man, it wasn't fun, honestly. Yeah. I mean, it was fun because it was like, you're a kid, so you could get into a bunch of trouble. And when you get into trouble as a kid, it's fun,
Yeah.
But it was also, it was the 90s, the late 80s, 90s, growing up right there. It was probably, I mean, it was dangerous, so you see everything and anything like growing up there. So, so that was kind of my upbringing, which was cool because, I got to know what I wanted. I knew there was something better, from watching TV, actually. I knew there was something better. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm just going to do what I can. I thought I was going to, come out the hood and be like a sports player, It's like, okay, that's my way out. But in high school, I went to San Diego High, and I got it. They made us do an internship when I was a senior in high school, and they said, okay, yeah, you got to do an internship. You got to go work for somebody. So it's like, okay, cool. And I set something up in downtown with this attorney. And then one day I was telling my uncle, who was a real estate broker, about that job that I had set up as a senior.
What was the internship for, or what was that?
It was a class. It was a class that I was taking, and part of that class, the teacher said, okay, everybody has to go work for someone, and it could be free or it could be paid, but that way you could get like experience working in whatever. Anything? It could be anything, yeah. So my homeboy's mom, she worked for an attorney in downtown. And he hit me up and he said, hey, my mom said that we could come through and like, work for this attorney. And I was like, cool, because that's what I thought I was going to do, was some type of law. And then when I told my uncle, I said, oh yeah, I'm going to start working next week for this attorney. He was like, nah, come over here, work for me. And at the time, he was a managing broker at a Century 21 office. And he was making money flipping homes and buying up commercial developments. Commercial blocks to develop and to flip. So I was like kind of like excited about the law thing, but I said, all right, cool.
Sorry, if you don't mind me asking, what's a commercial block?
Like back then it was like, so this is right in 2002 when they're building Petco Park.
Oh, wow.
So everything around Petco Park, it was like all industrial, they had warehouses, they had like a bunch of old buildings. So, he was going around just like trying to buy up these lots, these buildings, these blocks. And so I got introduced to that, I jumped in, I became his assistant. So I started learning the game, started seeing like, there's a lot of money to be made in real estate. So at that point, I was assistant for a while, and then I said, you know what, this is cool. I want to make some money too. So I get my license, my real estate license, and then at that point I become a real estate agent and I start selling homes.
How old are you? Is
that? Yeah. So when I was in high school, when I was his assistant, I was 18, and then when I got licensed and did my own first deal, I was 20.
Oh wow, you're very young.
Yeah. So that's how I got started. I started selling real estate, and then little by little, I'm like, okay, let me do a wholesale or an assignment, which is like a flip. Basically, you're just flipping a contract. So you buy it for one price and then you turn around and sell it to somebody else for a higher price. So, then you make the spread. And I did my first one in 2005. I was probably 21. I think I made like 35,000 on my first little wholesale. Yeah, which was a lot of money, still is, but it's back then, especially for someone who never even had money like that.
Yeah.
So then I started doing some of those. And then I become, I'm selling a lot of houses, so I'm making some good income. And in 2009, I say, okay, well, I set my goals a little bit bigger, and I go, well, I want to do commercial real estate. So I leave the residential thing behind. I go to La Jolla. I join a firm up there in La Jolla and start learning the commercial real estate game. So then now I'm like, I'm evaluating large commercial developments, shopping centers, apartment buildings, industrial warehouses, office buildings, land. And then a couple of years goes by, and then I kind of open up my commercial real estate division. I opened up a property management division, and then eventually I opened up a 3-in-1 with my residential sales, commercial, property management, 3-in-1. And then during that time too, I started buying and real estate, holding real estate, long-term investing, and then just really, building my portfolio.
Oh my God, damn, you did quite a bit. I didn't even know that you can do all that, to be honest. We did have someone not too long ago who was a realtor, and she was, she's selling houses and whatnot. But she hasn't dabbed into the commercial part. Can you explain a little bit on like the differences of like going into residential selling houses to commercial? Like what to you is better, or is it even better? You know what I'm saying? Is it just the same, or just a point of view?
Yeah, it's all a point of view. It's whatever you enjoy. Commercial is more numbers. So like when I was doing commercial, I was in big boardrooms with multimillionaires, heads of banks. Very educated, very smart individuals. And these guys know their numbers, because usually the way it works to even own that type of real estate, you start off maybe with residential houses, and then you do start doing something called 1031 exchanging, which basically, in essence, it's trading up. So you start trading from single family homes or condos to all of a sudden, 2 to 4 unit complexes, little apartment buildings, and then to 8 unit apartment buildings to, all of a sudden you own a little shopping center, or that's commercial. So in order to even own those, you usually have to have had a bunch of experience to even get there, unless you inherited it or whatever. But so all your clients basically that you're working for that are hiring you for real estate services, they're smarter than you, and they're more experienced. They got more money than you. So all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, like, okay, I went from being a real estate agent who's helping first time buyers, or maybe, property owners sell their first or second home. And then you're the expert, right? You're the expert. They look up to you, and they look to you for answers and this and that. So all of a sudden you're working for, legit millionaires with a big real estate portfolio. And then, you're looking up to them like, oh shit, like you're smarter than me. You got all these degrees, you're older than me. You got more money. Everything, more experience. So now it's like, it's kind of humbles you, but now you're learning, you're learning like big boy moves and stuff like that. So that's kind of like the difference when it comes to, commercial real estate or residential real estate.
Right now that you mentioned that, can you kind of go in detail of like, what about your first time dabbling into that, your first multi-million-dollar contract and whatnot? What was your, because I'm assuming you had a lot of anxiety, you were probably nervous. How were you able to get through those, those pressure points?
Oh yeah. It's funny. So the first time I remember the first time that I really started evaluating large commercial projects. It was 2009, it was like, I remember one weekend I evaluated close to like $1 billion in real estate.
Oh, wow.
So these banks own these assets, commercial shopping centers, industrial warehouses, whatever. And I had a list, and I was part of a team, and my job, everybody had like specific properties that they had to hit up the weekend. We had to have the report done by Monday. So I remember just like a Saturday and Sunday, just driving Del Mar, La Jolla, Encinitas, like all these areas, looking at all these buildings. And then on Monday, having to have a report to my team leader, like, okay, this is, what each of these properties is worth, this portfolio that this bank owns. And then my first, big deal, commercial deal was shortly after that. It was a property out there in Carlsbad, and it was a 51 unit apartment complex. I had a battle with like seasoned commercial brokers that have been in the business a long time. And I'm talking about like, I'm 25 years old. These guys have been, they're in their 50s, college educated, with like billions of dollars of real estate under their belt.
Did you go to college, or you just went straight into real estate?
Yeah. Straight from high school, right from high school, straight into the pros, man. Just, no college or nothing. So the first deal that I got was an $11.1 million deal. And that was because I was the only agent or broker. I've been a broker since 2007. So there's two different licenses. You have your real estate license and then your broker's license. So anyways, I was the only broker that got the right price. So we all had to evaluate this building, turn in a proposal, and say, I think it's worth this much. So I was competing like with 10 other brokers, and mine was the one that hit it on the target, the same price that a licensed appraiser appraised it for. Wow. So I got the deal. It was a good deal. I remember it was stressful because I had to submit my proposal, and I had a deadline, and I was leaving out of town for 2 weeks. So every December, I leave for about a month. I take a vacation. So I go for somewhere between 30, 35 days straight. And anyways, that was the first time that I was doing that back then. Yeah. And I knew I was leaving on a certain date. So it was during that date. And I remember staying up all night. Like I put an all-nighter. I finished around like 7 or 8 in the morning. Wow. And then I pressed send on the email, sent it in, and I just went straight to the airport. So remember, it was like stressful. And then when I was in Southeast Asia, and then that's when like I got the phone call. It wasn't even a phone call. It was probably like an email just saying, yeah, you got the deal. So
oh my God. Cool. You're on vacation too. You're already in victory mode at that point.
Yeah. So it was a good time. So that's kind of, that was my experience there. And then after that, when I came back and opened up Lepe Tenwell Properties, and and since then, I've had success. This year, just looking at the stats from a couple months back, there's 21,000 agents in San Diego, 21,000 realtors. So right now I'm ranked 34th as far as units or number of sales. So, top 0.5% in the county, top 0.5% as far as deals in San Diego County.
But you guys are growing too. So, I mean, you guys are bound to catch up to the top 10, man. Like, that's how I feel, seeing you hustle, your team hustle. You mentioned earlier about real estate license and brokerage license. I don't know what that kind of is. Can you explain to me what the difference is of having just a real estate license and a brokerage license?
Yeah, if you have a broker's license, you basically, so the only people that can transact real estate in California are brokers. So a normal real estate agent has to work for a broker. They can't do their own deals. They have to use my license or somebody else's license. So the brokers are the ones that transact, and then the realtors work under them, so that's kind of how that works. It's just a different license, a little bit more education, you need more experience, and then that's kind of how it works.
But do you need like experience to obtain that license, or you can just get that license whenever you like?
You need experience. Back in the day, they used to have the rule that if you had a college degree, you could get your broker's, you could apply and take the exam for your broker's license right away. But what they were finding out was these guys, they would have college degrees, they would become brokers, and then they would get in trouble because they didn't know the contracts, they didn't know, everything you're supposed to do in a transaction, and then they were getting sued. And so then they changed and they said that you need some experience before you become a broker.
So, I've heard, stories, of course, of different real estate agents who make it big, but a lot who don't make it big, right? What, in your eye, makes a good real estate agent or broker?
I mean, many things. It just depends, if the first thing is you have to care for your clients. You have to put them before anything, before your own commission, before anything. There's a lot of salespeople in general with commission breath, meaning they're just thinking about how much money they're going to make, as opposed to like, hey, let me help and get the best deal for this client. So that's number one. And then if you take care of rule number one, everything else takes care of itself. So one thing that I know we're different, we like to educate. To me, it's all about net worth. To me, it's all about creating wealth, and creating wealth for myself. If I create wealth for myself, I could help out other people. I could help out my community. I could teach others how to create, wealth for them. I think once you become wealthy, once you don't have to worry about money, life's so much easier. Yeah. It's like, there's no worries, you don't have to stress. If you don't want to go into work, you don't have to. And then you start to actually like philosophize. You could philosophize about whatever you want, whatever it's politics, a better world, about, community, about health, about spirituality. You have time for that. Yeah. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, you don't have time. You're just thinking about how am I going to get fed? When's the next meal? How am I going to, pay for this or pay for that? So to me, I see wealth creation like it's a must if you want to live a better life and a more enjoyable life and just be happy, and money doesn't bring happiness, but not having to worry about it all the time does.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. And, just for like the listeners to know, there's a difference between being rich and being wealth. It's wealth is longevity, to be honest. How the money you have is how if it's going to elongate your life. If you're just rich, you're just going to be spending too much. Sometimes wealth is just not just the money part, but also a mindset part. That's how I believe wealth is to be, right? And that's crazy that, your story from not being college educated, and that's not even knocking you down, it's actually making your portfolio even look better, right? Because I actually see you as, you're supposed to be an underdog, right? Against those multi-million-dollar brokers that you're going against to get those deals. And I bet that your confidence after that first deal that you got, that we said 11.1?
One. Yeah.
That your confidence just skyrocketed from there, and is that where your Tenwell Lepe started, or when did that start?
Oh no, that started in 2015. So
what led to you going to your own CEO real estate broker?
Yeah. So technically I could have made the move in 2007 because that's when I became a licensed real estate broker. But the goal was never to be a broker on my own and have my own people. That was never the goal. The reason why I made the move is because if you're not in business for yourself, that's fine. But there is going to be strings that you're under, strings that you have to play by somebody else's rules. Does that make sense? Because now you're not your own boss. So, which is fine. And I never cared about it. But then when I realized, hey, if I want the best for my clients, if I want to put them first, I don't want any strings attached telling me, hey, you have to use this vendor or this service or this, company to service your client. So I'm thinking like, well, I don't want nobody telling me that, who I can or can't use to service my client, because they're not the best services in my opinion.
Yeah.
I feel that if they want their own, if they want a good home inspector, I'm going to send them over here. If they want a good lender, I'm going to send them over here. If they want a good escrow company, if they want a good type. So I wanted to pick the best of the best for my clients.
Can you hold on really quick? Sorry, I have my
handle it. Cool.
So I forgot. Sorry, where did we leave off?
We were talking about why I made the move to open up my own place, and I was talking about the vendors and the services and having somebody just tell you what to do or whatnot.
Gotcha. And so you said you started that in 2015, where you said like the goal was a little different in your mind, right? So how did you start translating into that? Like where's like your mind at during that time? Because I know even in 2008 was the housing crisis, right? Were you like definitely affected by that time too?
I was affected in a very positive way. So in 2006, I started to venture into short sales. By 2007, I had a good grasp on it. I started noticing changes in the market. So I, like you mentioned earlier, adapted to it way before anybody. And by the time that we were in the recession, I was making a lot of money. I was in a niche market to where I was servicing everybody who needed help during that time, where, and a lot of people didn't make that adjustment maybe until like 2009, 10, 11, when it was already too late, basically. So I got really lucky in adjusting there when I did.
Oh, wow. And so you started making your firm. How's that ordeal? What was the team like at the beginning, or was it just yourself and you just, worked yourself, or was it your family? Because I think you have your family working with you, right? Oh
yeah. Yeah. It's all fam. So when I decided, hey, I don't want any more strings attached, I have to make my own move. That way I could service my clients best. That was 2015. It was just me and my sister and then my assistant at the time. And we just packed up the car, came down here. I found this location right here in Golden Hill. I got a sweet deal on it. Again, because I've been in commercial real estate, I was able to negotiate some crazy lease because the agents representing the landlord didn't know commercial leases. So that's important. Anytime you do business, you want a professional that deals exactly with that type of whatever the hell you're dealing with. So I got a sweet deal, moved in right away. And then we just started, same thing, nothing changed. We just put our head down, started grinding, kept grinding.
And did you get your whole family into it, or did they just wanted to learn, or how did that happen?
It's just like anything else. If you're into something and then you start seeing success, you talk to your homies about it, your family about it, and then little by little you start, just pulling people in that want to get in. So I don't know how many people in my career, friends, I helped get their real estate license. I can't even tell you how many. And then family too. So, my sister, she works with me. My cousin, she works with me. My mom, she works with me. And then on top of that, I have like a ton of family, cousins, aunties, uncles who are in the business. It's funny. Some of them, I didn't even know they're in the business. You know how you have like a Mexican family, you have like a shitload of tios and tias.
Yeah.
And then and some of them you don't even know. But through the years, I've been meeting people, and it's funny. One time I was at a property I was selling, and then this lady pulls up, and we're looking at each other, and I'm thinking, damn, she looks like my cousin, one of my cousins. And then she starts asking me questions. She goes, I'm a Lepe too. And I go, oh shoot, you are? I'm like, who's your cousin? And all of a sudden it's like, she's some badass real estate investor. And she I found out all these things about her, and I'm like, holy shit, and she happened to get into real estate just like I was in real estate. And it's something, I think it was like an attraction because, we all grew up in very humble beginnings. So I think it was like the attraction of real estate where it's like, hey, I could make money without being educated, without having, certain background. The barrier to entry into real estate is super easy, super low. Anyone can get into it. So I think it was that kind of mindset that all my family members who I didn't even know were in real estate, I think that's how we all ended up in real estate, with that same, kind of like, mindset of just like, I'm gonna go out here and kill it,
Yeah. And so, I mean, you said that it's kind of like it's easy to get into it even with no money down or anything like that. How can you explain like an example of how easy it is? Because I'm not gonna lie, real estate to me, like, it sounds like big, it sounds kind of like a scary thing to get into, but from what it sounds like, from what it sounds like from you, it's a mindset that you just have to kind of get to it.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to my people today. So I train my agents on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and we're talking about next year, 2021. Going big and getting deals, and it's all about mindset, right? So, like the other day, I was early morning. I meditate, so I was meditating in the morning after reading some book, and I was just thinking to myself, I want to feel fear, like fear. I should welcome it. And the reason why is because whenever you feel that, like, for example, you just said real estate, big thing, scary, that's good. But you got to go welcome it and fucking, punch through it. Because on the other side of fear is opportunity. So that's all that is. The reason why you feel fear is because there's opportunity there. Now, most people, what they do is they back out, walk away from fear, because it's fucking scary. It really is,
Yeah.
But if you go there, figure it out, and be like, fuck it, I'm scared, but I don't care, and just keep moving forward, there's opportunity. So it is a mindset, that's all it is at the end of the day.
Wow. I mean, that's, you really did say some good stuff right there, because I never thought of like fear of like that, like just kind of attacking. It kind of reminds me of a episode we did with professional paintball player Tyler Harmon. He was talking about like, dude, this is my opportunity. I'm on the team that I wanted to be in. I got to attack this opportunity. It's like, yeah, the fear is there, but if you don't attack that opportunity, you're not going to know what you can live, what kind of life you're going to live. And honestly, yeah, I can see through your eyes, and you're, I could want to ask, because I did dabble into the link that you have on your Instagram. Yeah. You have like, I think you have a instructor there as well, links to different people's IG, I believe that are your realtors. How did you start to be like, you know what, I'm not just going to be any other real estate brokerage, like just, you're doing your own thing, honestly. How did you start getting those ideas, and how did that, start to grow?
I've always just been with the mentality of like, share. That's all it is. It's like you grow up, it's like you got to share. I grew up my whole time. Like, I remember one time I tried to be greedy when I was a little kid. I wanted the fries to myself. But, you grow up like, Mexican household, no money. It's like, shit, you have one fries, everybody fucking gets those fries. So I remember as a like young, probably like 7 years old or something, I was like, fuck this, I'm gonna keep these fries. And I hit them, and they're from Jack in the Box, and I was like, I put them outside in the bushes, that way like nobody asked me for
that. Man.
and then I swear to God, it must have been like 1 or 2 minutes. I came back, they're gone. So someone jacked me. So I was like, fuck, that's what I get for being greedy. So you learn all these things throughout the way, and it's like, you learn like, hey, sharing is caring. It's like, if I know something and it's going to help you, why not share? You know what I'm saying? I'm going to hook you up. Like, there's no skin off my back. All it is knowledge, you know, um, where there's a lot of people that want to just hoard the knowledge and, they don't want to share. Like, that's not my mentality. So here at Lepe Tenwell, that's the thing. It's like, if you're an agent and you want to join, it's like, hey, I'll put you up on game. Hey, better yet, I'm going to give you the fucking blueprint. Hey, this is exactly what I did to make this much money. This is how you make $1 million. This is how you make 2 million, and so forth. And that's all it is. It's just a shared mentality. So it wasn't even like, oh, I want to be a teacher, or educator, nothing like that. It was just like, it evolved into that, because that at the end of the day, that's my biggest asset that I could share with realtors or people who want to invest in real estate. Be like, my knowledge, like, cool, this is exactly how you do it. So that's how that came about.
Wow, and that's really cool. And so can you share a little bit to our audience, like, because I keep talking about the game night and what you do for, stuff like that. Like, what are some stuff that you do for your clients, like the YouTube videos, and like, because I saw you guys also have a YouTube channel too as well. Can you share to the audience what exactly do you do for the clients?
I mean, we do so many things. I mean, obviously we do our workshops throughout the year. We do 24 workshops. Now they're online on Zoom, different topics every time. We teach clients how to create wealth. That's our number one thing. We'll teach you how to create wealth. But to our past clients, current clients, and people who refer us business, we love them. So we take really good care of them. We're always in communication with them. They're like family. It's a community. And once a year, one thing that we do that's cool is we rent out a movie theater. We call it movie night. We fit, almost 200 people in there. We give away prizes. Oh, wow. We do games, trivia. I mean, all kinds of stuff. We give out money to a local community. So we've given this school down the street and right here in Logan and Sherman, over $80,000 over the last few years. Wow. We help local organizations. We do toy drives. But anyways, going back to movie night, we do all that within an hour. And then after that, we just play like the new release, whatever new release it is. Last year, I think it was Frozen 2, right when it first came out. And it's a good family event. Everybody comes out. The kids are dressed up like Frozen characters. We provide the popcorn, drinks, pizza. We had those two locals last year. This year, because of COVID, we couldn't do that. So we did an online event, game show style. So we did like Jeopardy, The Price is Right, real estate edition.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we did Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? And we did all these game show style themes. And we gave away so much stuff, so many prizes, You just
had a scavenger hunt, didn't you?
We had a scavenger hunt. Yeah, it was all part of the same event. Online, we had 400 people show up.
Wow.
400 people show up online.
I'm surprised the server didn't crash. I was like,
dude, yeah, it was fun. And the crazy part is, like, today, one of our clients, because we do our toy drive, one of our clients came in and like laced us up. He brought at least 30 gifts.
Wow.
Okay. So we do a toy drive for the kids right here. The last few years, we've been hooking up the kids in Logan. Before that, like TJ and different places. But anyways, he came through because he was on game night and he was enjoying himself. And then he heard us talk about our toy drive. So he came with like 30 plus gifts today. And it's like, oh shit. So kind of like, that'll give you an idea of who our clients are. Clients, they have the same mentality as us. It's like, hey, let's share, this is a community, let's care for others. And I think that's probably like, if I really think about it, that's like the coolest thing about doing what we do. Is like, it's a community, dude. Like, everybody's here about helping, we don't have asshole clients, we don't have those clients where like, you never want to deal with them again, so it makes it easy to keep in touch.
Oh, that's really cool, dude. And you guys, I think I saw today was an MVP award, or what was that about?
Oh, so that was our top referring client. So every year, whoever refers us the most business, they usually get a pick between cash money, $1,000 cash, or They get to pick all expense paid trip, you know.
Oh, wow.
But obviously because of COVID, it was cash this year. But that was part of game night. We just created a different video for that. And it was funny because, we put a lot of thought and effort into that. And we like surprised the heck out of the winner because we pulled up on him at his house. You know, it looked like a publisher's clearinghouse, you know, so it was cool, you know, it was a fun night.
No, I mean, shoot, they look like fun times, dude. I think me and my wife are gonna start, you know, following you guys more often. So people who are, you know, business right now, there's like a lot of restaurants closing and whatnot. Are you being affected by that type of stuff? Are you, or even people who want to start their own business, like, but are scared of buying, you know, or leasing a place and stuff like that? Like, what are tips or ways that you can tell people don't be afraid of leasing, you know, or is it, I don't know, like what is your perspective on that right now?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things again where whenever people are fearful, there's opportunity. Mm-hmm. So if you're a tenant, if you're someone looking to open a business or whatever, where everyone else is like fleeing and closing down and all that shit, you got to be like, okay, there's some opportunity here because there's fear. You know, so if you're thinking of doing something, then it's like, shit, you might be able to, you know, swing a really nice deal right now because landlords are fearful too. So landlords are like, well, fuck it, I'm going to give you a discount on the rent. I'm going to work with you. I'm going to help you because I'm not getting paid rent. It's a vacant space. Yeah. So I think that's my thoughts on potential entrepreneurs that want to open up their own business during this time. At the same time, for people who do have businesses, it's an opportunity to be like, oh shit, maybe I don't need my space. Maybe I could save thousands of dollars a month by just working from home or whatever, you know? Mm-hmm. So I think right now, during these times that everyone's afraid, there's definitely opportunity. You just got to open your eyes and look for it, and it's there, you know, whatever you're trying to do. So I definitely encourage that.
Mm. And do you think that real estate is not going to be in like any type of recession anytime soon because of like the economy going right now so far? You know, how do you feel that it's going forward? It's because right now we're all again shutting down, right? Like it's kind of sucks that we're all shutting down. And I don't know, man, I have a lot of mixed feelings about this shutdown, to be honest. But what do you feel about this stuff?
Yeah, for sure, man. Real estate, I mean, I'll give you the easy answer or the most direct answer. I just bought 3 units, 3 houses on one lot about a month ago. And then today I came to terms on another purchase of a 4-unit property, a 4-plex. So I think that's the answer is I'm investing in real estate. You know, I'm not afraid of it. I think if I thought there was going to be any downturn, there's no way I'm buying right now. And this is my money. So it's like, you know how people say, put your money where your mouth is. I'm putting my money where my mouth is.
So if, say for instance, someone wants to get into real estate, they want to be part of your team, you know, how does that work? Do you take anybody or because I know you teach people too, how does that work being into those type of classes, or is it just free for everybody?
Yes, it's all free game, man. It's all free game. You know, I've charged in the past, and actually I see a better result because whenever you pay for something, you got some skin in the game and you take it more serious. Yeah. And then I said, well, you know what? I'm charging for these classes, and I was charging real estate agents. I was charging real estate agents from other companies. They would come and learn from me. So the cool part is I've had some like top agents in here around the county that say, hey, I learned this from you. I learned that from you. And I'm like, oh shit, that's cool, you know? And these are the guys that would come in and pay me money to learn. And then after a while I said, hey, maybe I could help more people get a bigger audience if I'm just like turn it into free game, you know? And so we've been doing it ever since. But I mean, I've been playing with the idea of just charging again, just because people, I think, respect it more. People, you know, whenever you're paying for something, you're going to pay more attention, you know?
Definitely. But I mean, you're still going to continue all the YouTube for sure though, right?
Oh yeah, we're going to continue all that. As far as like people want to be part of my team, I mean, there's, you know, I mean, two different types of people that we work with. One is real estate clients that want to buy or sell homes or invest or do anything real estate. And then there's also realtors or real estate agents that, you know, want to do more business. You know, the average real estate agent in San Diego sells 4 homes a year, just 4, right? This year I'm at 84 sold, 84 families that I've helped. So for a regular real estate agent that sells 4 homes a year, they want some game, you know, they want to get coached up, you know, they could holler at me and then, you know, we'll have a conversation and see if they're good for the company.
So, you know, we talk about the 84 homes that you've sold. I'm assuming most of them are first-time buyers, right? Or I don't know if it's or how that works. But even then, a lot of my audience might be first-time buyers. How do they go into being a first-time buyer? Like if they don't know anything about it, like even how to buy a house, how does one even know how to deal with a real estate agent, or what are the tips you give to them out there?
Yeah. So again, if you're renting out there, you don't own any real estate, you want to get into home ownership, property ownership, wealth building, you just hit up our IG, sign up for some classes, and then, you know, get the game from there. So you show up, we teach you everything from A to Z, how to become a homeowner. We make it really easy on you. That's our job. I mean, obviously, you know, so we're going to hook you up with that education. It's all about educating yourself first. Some people, again, there's fear. So they're like, want to take baby steps. The very first step, hit us up. You could jump on our Zoom class, or we'll do a one-on-one on the house where we walk you through the entire process A to Z and teach you how to become a homeowner.
So I think after tonight, I'm going to sign up for that.
Yeah, man, for sure. I mean, there's no reason to pay somebody else's rent, man. Like, for example, like all my tenants, man, I love my tenants. I mean, they've made me so much money. Yeah. You know, I mean, I can't thank them enough. At the same time, whenever I see them, I'm like, hey, you want to buy a house? You know, I'm okay losing a tenant if they're going to go better their life. But most of them, what do they tell me? Oh, no, you know, no, excuse after excuse. Oh, you know, it's not a good time. I don't have, you know, but they don't even want to learn. You know, I think everyone should have the mentality of like, well, fuck it. This fucker keeps asking me. Yeah. And my landlord keeps asking me if I want to buy this house or another house. Like, maybe I should even just find out more information.
Yeah.
But nobody even wants to do that. So it's like, you wonder why, you know, you're broke. You wonder why you're not creating wealth. Well, it's because you're not even taking the next step of finding out. So once you find out and you educate yourself, guess what? The fear level goes from here to here. Right? So it's like, be open-minded. And that's not just like real estate. That's everything in life. Yeah. Be open-minded. You know what I'm saying? Like someone says something to you. I mean, some of the biggest opportunities that I've ever came across was because I was open-minded. Even though in my head, I'm like, that's a scam. Like that's some bullshit. Yeah. But I stop myself and I go, you know what? Hold up. Let me just find out. You know, and then you learn and you're like, oh shit, I was wrong, or I was right, whatever. But, you know, at least you take that next step.
And I believe now it's easier more than ever, right? Because, I mean, with everything that's social media, you know, the stuff, I mean, you probably, at that time when you were growing, you didn't really have those resources, you know. Now people have outlets to learn about this, you know what I'm saying? They can come on this podcast and even learn, you know, like that's what this whole podcast is about. To educate the people of like, man, maybe real estate is not such a bad game after all, how the movies kind of point out to be and stuff like that, or the media tries to point out. But yeah, I mean, definitely learning a lot of stuff. I mean, if you coming from Logan, you know, Sherman, at a time when it wasn't, you know, wasn't at its good time, you know what I'm saying? And like, and reiterate, you were kind of like the underdog coming up, and now you're flourishing, but you're flourishing in wealth. You're sharing your knowledge out there, and And that's great, man. That's great to hear and listen, especially from the Latino community. It makes me proud to know there's Latinos out there like you, able to share that knowledge, able to create happiness as well, right? Because you're also creating happiness to the people who are buying first time homes, or even happiness to having a business for the first time in this place, or even your I'm assuming even your real estate agents, getting those $1 million contracts that like they probably never would have gotten. They didn't get it from you. You know what I'm saying? So you definitely, I can see your foundation. Like you've definitely set the foundation. Now it's the tree is growing and and the branches are coming out, man, and the leaves are, it's just blooming. You know what I'm saying? And it's wonderful to see. Honestly, it
Cool,
is
man.
very
Thank you.
wonderful to see.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
But
appreciate it, man.
yeah, and speaking of, because I know you talk about educate yourself and whatnot. Do you have like a mentor of any sort? Should people go out to seek a mentor, or was it like just yourself, like studying books, or like just on your own, or researching on the internet? Like, is a mentor really good for you?
Oh yeah, yeah. You need a mentor, even if it's books. Dead people, those are mentors. Like you're reading their books. So imagine someone who fucking wrote a book, even if it's 100 years ago. I mean, that's probably somebody who had game in their head, and they're just like, let me put it on a piece of paper. Mm-hmm. That person right there is a teacher. So even if you read a 100-year-old book, someone who's dead, it doesn't mean they're not a mentor, a coach. So yeah, I've had several mentors, including, books, including real life people. My uncle was a mentor. I have a cousin who was a mentor, put me up on game. And then, as you progress, you meet somebody else, they might not even know they're a mentor. You don't call them a mentor, but you're just like, oh shit, coach me up, like yeah. how the fuck you end up with 100 homes? And you're like, teach me, like, what the hell did you do? Yeah. And then they start telling you their story. And you're like, oh shit. And then you catch things in your head. So mentorship is huge. In this day and age, it's different because everyone is a success story on Instagram. Everyone's a mentor. People are teaching game and they never done it, or they didn't even earn the stripes to teach. Mm-hmm. Meaning, they hear me talk or someone like me, and then they go, okay, cool. And they go regurgitate that to the next person, and just to get their likes up or get a following or whatever the hell. But it's like you weren't in battle. You weren't grinding it out for, 5, 10, 15 years. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's important to choose wisely. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think there's a lot of good information out there, even from those people who regurgitate information, because they're getting it from someone who's legit or real or whatever. But yeah, choose wisely. And then for the ladies, I've done a Wisdom Wednesday on this before. For the ladies, you have to be very careful because there's a lot of mentors out there that, that's how they hook you. And then next thing you know, they're like, they ain't really trying to be your mentor, Oh, wow. So, I've seen a lot of that. It's just, with anything else, you just got to do your homework, choose wisely.
And speaking of that, who has been your biggest inspiration, growing up and whatnot?
My biggest inspiration, getting into the real estate game, for sure was my uncle. He's the one that put me on. I learned a lot from him, as far as how to transact real estate, just how to really want to learn more. Mm-hmm. and then also just from like that gutter mentality where it's like, hey, I'm from nothing, but I'm gonna make something crack. Because at the end of the day, man, it's whatever you do, Yeah. And there's no outside like influences, like even like I mentioned earlier, the market crashed in 2008. I made a ton of money, mm-hmm. And it wasn't because it wasn't like the outside circumstances, just like whatever happens, you just have to adapt and move with it. So yeah, so he was a huge inspiration, very early on to like, okay, you can make some crack, you can make something happen. I see it, it's real, and I think, going back to the mentor thing, it's like, I think everybody needs some degree of that where, they could watch this podcast and they could be like, well, that guy's on fucking a screen somewhere, I don't know, that shit can't happen. Like, I can't do that. But if all of a sudden we're in the same room and we're talking and they're, they touch and feel me and they're like, oh shit, like this motherfucker made it. he don't look that much smarter than me, or or whatever. Like maybe I could do it, So I think everybody needs to pursue someone. It's very easy. You just have to do your research. Whatever you're trying to do. If you're trying to create wealth, you want to meet with wealthy people. And you want to be able to say, cool, but you want to know that it's real. It's funny because I remember two circumstances. One time this dude was in our office, financial advisor, and he was like, he had a meeting with my sister, and I was working, and it was like me and her, just team. She was doing a lot of assistant work for me, and I was like swamped. It was 2013. I was swamped in like paperwork and all that shit. And I'm like, where the hell is she? And I knew she was like, she had a meeting with somebody. Yeah. And I went over there and I could hear them, and they're like trying to sell her like on financial services and shit like that, like how to generate wealth. So then I'm like, kind of like a dick, I guess. But I was like, let me end this real quick because I need her back here helping me with these clients. Yeah. These emails or whatever we had going on. So I walk in the room, I go, hey, what's up? Oh, you guys are selling something? Oh, what are you guys selling? Oh, you guys are going to make us rich? Cool. Let's do this. Whatever the hell you're selling, I'll buy it. But you got to have more money than me. Because I'm not getting game from somebody who doesn't have more money than me. Yeah. So, he was on the computer. I said, fucking log into your bank statement. Let's see it. Oh, then he was like, oh no, I can't do that because, blah, blah, and then, and then I was like, yeah, sure you can. It's like, okay, then we're not buying nothing, thanks for coming, meeting over. Right. Yeah. So the second time I did that, or the second time I remember doing that, was a few years ago. Same thing, financial advisor. This time I'm in his office, right? Because I saw something I liked, and I was like, man, this dude got game. Like he seems like the real deal, but I don't know. Yeah. Right. So I stepped into his office and I go, check this out. I'm down to fuck with you, but I have to make sure this shit's real. I'm not trying to get scammed. So can you? This is funny as hell. So I was like, it was me, him, and then his assistant next to him. Yeah. And I go, can you show me what your net worth is? And then he looks at me in the eyes. He goes, and then he says, he calls his assistant. I forgot her name, but let's say it's Janessa. He goes, Janessa, please leave the room. And then she's typing. She looks up like, what? And then he's like, please leave the room. He didn't even look at her. He's looking at me. And then I was like, oh shit. So she stood up. She was like, she didn't know what's going on. She left the room. He goes, okay, I'll show you. He logs into his account. Bam. Some fucking crazy number. Yeah. What was it? What's it? 7, 8. What is that? 8 digits. And it was like more money than what I had. Yeah. So then I was like, oh shit. I said, okay, cool. I'm fucking with you. So bam, cut him a check, 6 figures. Let's do this. Let's make some money. So I think that, when you find a mentor, you got to make sure it's real. You just got to, maybe not like that, but it's like, hey, what do you own? Like, what do you got? Like for reals, for reals, like, are you broke? Are you in debt? And guess what? Like, yeah. And I'm not talking shit about those people because everybody needs to start somewhere. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, cool. but what I'm saying is, like, if you're looking to really grow, whatever it is, whether you want to grow your real estate, your net worth, your financial stuff, your business, and you got a business mentor, cool. How many businesses do you got? Yeah. You know, where are they profiting? Are they running a deficit? Like, you know, so these are questions that you got to know. And then all of a sudden you get yourself a good mentor that's doing exactly what you're doing. Like, let's say janitorial, you got a janitorial service. It's like, and you meet somebody that's legit and he has 50 franchises or 50 crews or whatever. And you're like, oh shit, like for reals. And you ask all the right questions, like what's your profit margin, this and that. And then all of a sudden you're like, fuck, this motherfucker's legit. I'm going to get this mentor, you know, compared to, you know, maybe going with somebody else, you don't ask the questions and all of a sudden you're going to start losing money, like just like that fucker is, you know? So I think it's important to have a good mentor and vet them and do your research.
Wow. That's daring though. That was very daring.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm going to spend my money, if I'm going to give you money,
yeah,
I got to make sure it's real, you know? And that's the other thing is, you know, we're not good with our money. You mentioned earlier, Latinos, you know, brown and black people, we're not good with our money. No one teaches us about this stuff. Our parents don't teach us. So it's like, we have to figure it out on our own. And these are the tough questions that these are tough conversations that nobody likes to have or ask, tough questions about finances. And yeah, it is daring, but once you start to make money, you'll understand. And once you start to like really grow your wealth, that's when you're like, okay, you know, this is how
the game works.
You know, the game works. This is how wealthy Jewish people work. This is how, you know, wealthy white people work. You know, it's like they work like this. So they're good with their finances. They look at every dollar that they spend. They don't hand money to random people. They don't invest with random people. You know, they got to make sure that they have a track record, you know, well referred or whatever, you know. So I think we got a ways to go as far as brown and black people and just to be able to grow our wealth.
Yeah. No, but you're honestly, you're leading by example, dude. I mean, without a doubt. And, you know, with that being said of leading, you know, I know you kind of shared a little bit that you like to share knowledge and whatnot, but what would you consider your leadership style? Because you've honestly grew from the ground up, you know, from your persona as well as much as your business. You know, what is your leadership or what advice you give out to leadership, you know, like to people who want to be a leader?
I think you just have to, people that want to lead and good leaders are going to be people who been there, done that. You know, it's hard to lead if you never been there, done that.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is, you know, and how do you do that? Well, it's like grind it, you know. I've had agents at this company that came here because they said, Voltaire, I want to be like you. Can I follow you around? You know, can I be an agent at your company? And I go, cool, I'll give you mentorship and all that. And I've had agents look me in the eye and said, hey, you know what? I've seen how hard you work. And this is not something that I want to do for a living. I don't want to work this hard. So I'm quitting. I'm like, cool. It's better you know that now than waste 5 years in real estate and then quit, you know? So to me, a good leader is someone who's been there, done that, someone who's about it, you know, someone who ain't going to be like, oh, you know, pull the trigger and you do the dirty work. It's like a leader is going to be someone who's done it, you know? So
just there for the 8 hours and out. You know,
that's not a leader. So you lead by example. So like, guess what? It's 8:08. My last employee just left the office. I just heard her leave, 8:08 p.m. You know, so I'm gonna be the last one here, and I'm gonna be the first one in the morning. You know, I'll be here 7:30 tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's Wednesday. It's a different day, but you know, I mean, that's how you lead. You know, so I can't tell people, hey, get here at this time and leave at this time if they don't see me doing it. You know, so. There's a lot of people that want to be leaders, want to lead, but they ain't about that work.
Man, and that's That's good, because you talk about that's a work ethic that you just need to build. A lot of people will complain about, like you said earlier, living paycheck to paycheck, but they're not putting that overtime, right? They're not working up the skills, or they're not diversifying too. I believe also in diversifying, don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? Like, for instance, I was cooking for the longest time, but I didn't really put my eggs all in one basket. I happened to saw an opportunity in janitorial. I was like, all right, well, let me take it. This is before COVID, when the janitorial was actually my dad's. And when he got sick, I took over. And then I kind of seen there's actually real opportunity in janitorial at the time. I just didn't know. I was a first time business owner. I just didn't know how to work it. Now to getting the kinks going and stuff like that. Now I'm, not just a cook or a chef in one section. I'm also, a business owner on another side. So now I have a different income, right? My friend who not too long ago, we had an interview with him. He invests a lot into stocks too. And, he tells me about, like, you can also diversify in there. Even a good way to start is dividend investing, right? And so I dabbled a little bit into that as well, asking those questions to the people who have dabbled into that for many years, like, what should I be looking out for? Where should I go through? And I believe, and speaking of now, COVID really hit the food industry, right? A lot of people in the food industry are out of jobs. They are not having to work. And I'm fortunately blessed to not just put all my eggs in that basket, because I would probably be one of those people negative, even when this whole COVID thing happened. I was like, let's start a podcast. I listen to a lot of podcasts, like, maybe this is a passion that I kind of didn't even know I wanted, right? Like, now sharing these stories is amazing to hear the stories of different people who are in different type of industries, music, small business, people who are trying to grind it out. And talking to you and getting insights from you, I probably would have learned it. All this knowledge that I've gotten from this podcast, right? I would never have learned it in the last 5 years, right? Because I've just been so focused in food, how to chop well and stuff like that, just to put all my eggs in one basket. Now that it's just like so open-minded to different perspectives, different ideas, and just, it's like you said earlier, like this episode, I feel like is a lot has to deal with fear, because you have to attack that fear. If you've done it, why can't the person who's listening, or anybody do it? You know what I'm saying? And you talk about fear a lot, and that's good that you do, because people are afraid. People are afraid of failure. They're afraid of what they're gonna look like, and on social media, and it kind of sucks, man. Like, and this podcast actually helped me to open up more. It's just like recently, it's just like, what, like, I just did a video on myself, because I even invested myself. I bought the masterclass. I don't know if you know about those.
Yeah.
I bought masterclass on LI, and because I do believe in mentors as well. I started listening to the class of Robert Igor, the ex-Disney CEO. Talking about strategies, and, I was just like, what is my strategy? Like, what is my strategy of the podcast? So I wrote down my whys. I was just like, so why am I doing this? I really took into perspective, like, why am I doing this podcast? Like, the real reason. And I was like, the real reason I want to share these stories, second reason, like, hopefully the listeners are inspired by these stories. They don't have to be, and I'm not saying you have to get into real estate. You don't have to get into paintball. You don't have to get into any of the stuff that our guests have done, but get inspired by something to fuel your passion. You know what I'm saying? Develop another skill, because there's a lot of people who don't like their jobs. They just do because it's just money. Same with, like, I feel like that even happens in the food industry, right? Bartenders because it's good money. Is that a real passion though? Like, some people do take it serious, but some people just do it just for the tips. I'm investing in myself more than I ever have, honestly. Like, it's rewarding. It's very rewarding when I'm, the feedback I get, and it's and the fear, like it's funny because like I was fearful of hearing myself the first time podcast I was gonna hear. Like first episode was not good, and I kind of knew it was not gonna be good because the audio. I'm new to this. The second episode was okay. It's just like but you more you do it, and it's kind of like you. I feel like the more you do it, the more normal it kind of gets, right? So it's like the same thing with my boy Drizzle D, who we interviewed last week. He talks about doing music with Wiz Khalifa and Snoop Dogg. Yeah, the first time is nerve-wracking, but once you're in that studio and you're just basically chilling with the homies, and continuously, and it's just like a normal day life. Like it's weird how fear is just like that one little step that you just need to get over, right? And you just have to get over that step. And then you're on a track, right? You're on a different track. Now you're just like, you're actually finding more fears, to be honest, because you want to dab into that. What more can I do? Like you went from the, down and bottom. You wanted to start your own business. You're now the CEO of Lepe Tenwell. And, what's next for you? You know what I'm saying? You're top, you said 34th?
Ranked 34th in units, across the county.
And what's to say that in 2 years you don't reach that goal of the top 10, top 5, with that type of mindset that you have. And that's like, I'm fired up by it because I like that you really emphasize the whole fear part in this episode, because a lot of people are just that excuse. Oh, I'm going to wait. I kind of want to wait. It's not the right time. Like, when is the right time? Like, like that's how I kind of figured out. I was like, when is the right time? When I got dealt with the janitorial business, I didn't think it was the right time, but I had to do it. I had to grind it out for the family. You know what I'm saying? I had, and I'm glad I did it. Now we go I'm like in a hustler mood, right? Because like now me and my wife, we have a bunch of old junk that we were like, you know what? Let's turn this junk into treasure. We go to the swap meets every weekend. I don't know if we're still going to go because the whole COVID thing, but we're just hustling on the weekend as a side gig. You know what I'm saying? And it's free inventory basically, because it's stuff that that my dad had that he kind of hoarded a lot, and we're just selling and stuff, whatnot. And, and my wife is enjoying it. She's like, man, I want to do this. I want to sell more. She's getting more into that hustler mentality as well. And, we were just having a talk. She's reading this book. I believe it's called the 12 Secrets or 12 Truths. It's about this lady who she went to the Auschwitz Holocaust and whatnot, and how she's able to kind of be I don't know the other word for apologize. Forgiveness. How forgiveness is very, very powerful, and how she forgave the Nazis and whatnot. And just from those, like, reading of those chapters and whatnot, she, we had a serious conversation. She's like, you know what, babe, my fiance is fearful of her. She's always had a little insecurity about her speech, because she is Mexican. She has an accent. She's always been kind of insecure about it. She's like, you know what, babe, I really want to lose this fear. I want to develop more. Like, it's I don't want to be fearful of this. And it's, honestly, it's amazing, getting her to, because, I push her, read some books, like maybe invest ourselves in some more. I tell her while I'm watching masterclass and I don't see her taking notes, I'm like, hey, you should take out some notebooks and start writing down. Maybe I'll write some notes that I didn't write, some notes that you probably caught, you know what I'm saying? And then we'll collaborate about that. And honestly, this is fun, dude. This is really, I like having this conversation with you, man, because I've learned a lot from you too.
Yeah, you seem hyped, man. That's good.
Yeah, dude, I'm always hyped, man. I'm always about that.
Okay, that's what's up.
I'm trying to bring that energy. You know what I'm saying? For a while, I had a down energy, because I was going through the loss of my pops. The mourning part, and maybe I was doing some stuff that I shouldn't be doing. Either be dabbling into drinking habits or anything like that. And it just, kind of like, I had to reassure myself, like, is that really who I am? Like, I wasn't like that, in the past. So, I want to attack the best. And now that I have a 5-month son now, when we found out that, and when I found out I was having a kid, that life changed, right? It's just like, you now to, like, you're becoming a dad. Like, you're definitely a leader now to someone, right? You have to lead that your son to the best life he can live, and hopefully with like, and I kind of say all the time, podcasts, like hopefully he listens to this in the future and, you know, not think of me as like, oh, my dad talks to all these amazing people, the CEO of Lepe Tenwell, but to also get information, just be like, you know what, if my dad can attack this, I can attack this. You know what I'm saying? If Lepe can attack this, I can attack this. You know what I'm saying? So it's honestly, I do it for the listeners. I do it for my family because you know, growing up, it's like you said, we don't get taught stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? And not even in the school district, we don't get taught this, how to build wealth, how to self-improve mentally, you know, the mindset that you need to have. It's a different kind of world, and that type of education you only get in the real world.
Yeah, it's just all experience, man. That's how you learn. So you just got to get out there and get that experience and just grind it out, figure it out.
Yeah, man. Before we let go, any last message you want to say to the listeners, to the audience?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I guess we could just, you know, touch on fear. You know, I think that's kind of like the thing that helped me in my career, time after time, find the fear, know there's opportunity behind it, and just get it done. And if you do that time and time again, your life will just progress. Obviously, there's going to be dips, but it's always going to go up. It's going to be like the real estate market over time, over the last 100 years, or the stock market over the last 100 years. So I think it's just finding the fear, facing it, moving past it, finding it again. Just keep looking for it, man. That's what it's about.
Yeah. And what's the next thing for you guys? What's the next thing for your company next year that's coming?
Yeah, the big thing next year, we're going to help 110 families. You know, that's on the real estate side. On my personal stuff, my big thing is, I mean, so my big thing is, I'm just going to go bigger and bigger and bigger as far as real estate portfolio is concerned. You know, I'm blessed enough to be in a position where I don't have to work anymore because of real estate portfolio. So I make money in my sleep type of deal, you know. And I do this, I still come into work and grind it out and beat everybody to the office and stay later than everybody else just because I like doing it and I like helping people. That's all I know is grinding. So the next stage in my life is going to be grinding for monopoly, you know, just to continue to build portfolio and do stuff like that for myself. You know, I'm still going to have the team here helping everyone, clients and new clients and referrals and all that stuff. I'm going to be focused on just, you know, just now I look at it like a game, you know. It's like, okay, shit, all right, let's play this game. I know the rules, you know, the rules I don't know, the tricks I don't know, I'm going to learn, and let's see how big I could grow this portfolio, you know. So that's kind of like the next move for me personally. It's almost like a side hustle, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to make it into my main hustle.
Wow, that's good, man. And where can people follow you? You know, for anybody out there who's, you know, want to see you get some classes, where can people follow you?
Yeah, you could go on our website, lepetendwell.com, or you could go IG, hit up Lepe_Tenwell, or my personal IG, VLepe33. That's my handle right there. So yeah, just jump online, hit the link in the bio, and then you'll see all our workshops every single month. We have at least 2 workshops every single month.
And you have an Instagram too, and do you have a Facebook as well?
Yeah, I have Facebook, I have YouTube. Same thing, just Lepe Tenwell. Just throw that in the search bar and then you'll find us.
All right, perfect. And I hope, man, thank you, dude. Really, thank you so much for this night, man. I learned a lot from you. It was an honor to have you, you know, on here, because now I'm talking to a millionaire, to be honest, right? And it's just like, it's just, now I've made that landmark now, just like thinking that, oh man, I'm like talking to a multi-million-dollar player right here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure, man. No, I'm honored to be here. You know, thanks for your time. I know it's late. I know you have a family, so that means a lot to me too.
I know you have a family. I know you're grinding, like you said, you're last one out of your office. And for you guys listeners, like if he's working this hard to still be on this podcast, you know he's the real deal. And if he's calling out the big shot callers, like what's your account? You know he's real. He's the real deal.
yeah, you know.
All right,
man. Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys, we're gonna leave it out with this one, and thank you, Lepe, for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.